Okay, we're here with Sam Jackson V. Today he was named Cal's starting quarterback, so we figured you guys might have a few questions for him. If you do have questions for Sam, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Same as we did with Coach Wilcox if the first time around. If you could keep it to one question, and then we'll go ahead and have follow-ups on our second round. But we'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato from Cal Sports Report. Go ahead, Jeff. You may be on mute, Jeff, so go ahead.
I was.
Okay, go ahead.
Sam, congratulations. Can you tell us what your reaction is to the news, when you found out, how you found out, and just kind of what you think you did to get the assignment?
Well, obviously, I'm very excited to hear that I want to start a job. I really appreciate the coaches for letting me build that trust with them to give me the spot. But I found out a couple of days ago. I had a meeting with Spaff, and then the next day I had a meeting with Wilcox, and they were just letting me know that they were proud of me. I think the most important thing I did to earn a job was just, some people know that who were at the practice, I had a rough start to fall camp. But after that, I had a meeting with Spaff, and I just asked them, I just wanted to know exactly what I needed to do just to even be, because I knew that it was going to be a battle. They brought Ben Finley in, obviously, and we have a backup, Fernando, who's pretty good too. So I just had a meeting with him. I talked to Coach Wilcox too, and I just needed to know what I needed to do to win the spot. And obviously they told all the guys the same thing, but they just told me that they wanted me to play quarterback, because if you come out and watch the practice, there was some times where I was just trying to make a play almost every play. That's just kind of how it was coming up through high school and my first 2 years. But I just had to learn how to play the play with Spav, because I know he can get me out of some things too. But with my athletic ability, I know that I can make some plays. But I just had to sit down, watch some more film, study our defense, just be decisive, confident, and consistent.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Kroner from the Chronicle. Go ahead, Steve. You may be on mute as well.
Yeah, I was for a second. Sorry about that. Sam, congrats on the job, on getting the job, excuse me. How much better do you think you will be, say, at the beginning of November than you are in late August?
Oh, I think I'll be much better. I mean, even from spring to fall, I was much better with just like my pocket presence and being more decisive. Most of it just comes from reps with me, just because I haven't played that much up and through high school and college. But I think the most important things was just reps. So I'm a visual learner. I like to see things myself. Like, it's easy for you to go in there and watch film. I watch a lot of film with Spav all the time, but I think once I get out there and actually see what's going on, that's when I start to get better and better. And I don't think that I've had any streaks where I was getting worse and worse. I think I was getting better and better each day. And it's always a 1% thing. It's never like a huge jump. It's just something that you make those new mistakes instead of the same mistakes. So I think I'll be so much better than I am at the start of August to November for sure.
Okay, we'll go to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
Morning, Sam. Congrats on the job. I was wondering, how would you assess your development in your decision-making and the process of sticking in the pocket or taking off scrambling now that you've earned the starting job?
It was something that I focused on from the first day of fall camp, just because I had a pretty okay spring, but I was just out there playing ball in the spring, just trying to get a feel for everything. So I felt like after spring, that evaluation was easy for me to just know that these are the things that I need to work on. And that was pretty much just staying in the pocket, being decisive, my pocket presence. I think I've done a pretty good job with working on that, but it's definitely some more work that I have to do, because with my athletic ability, I know it's like this ticking time in my head while I'm thinking in the pocket, where like, okay, it's been a couple seconds so I can get out of the pocket. But Sermon's kind of been playing those wide nine and stuff like that, so he's been trying to keep me in the pocket too. So that's pretty much been a big help.
Okay, we'll go to Matt Moreno from Cal Rivals.
Congrats, Sam. Obviously, Coach Wilcox, when he just talked to us, mentioned you're the starter. There's no kind of question about it. What kind of freedom and will you feel, and what kind of confidence does that give you going into, the week of prep, knowing like I don't have to look over my shoulder and I can, go in knowing I'm the starter and everyone else can know, that you're the starter?
It gives me a lot of confidence. I mean, the guys in the room were great about it. I mean, it wasn't any conflict with anything. So when I met with Spav and Wilcox, it was pretty much just good news. Obviously, there's still some things I have to work on, like they probably said and like I will say. But it's given me a lot of confidence just to know that I'm a starter and we can get rolling from now on.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Wagaman from Bear Insider.
Hey, Sam, I got on here just a little bit late, so pardon me if you've asked that, but I know in high school you did a lot of running around, and that's part of your greatest talent is your ability to escape, extend plays, and make things happen. How much more comfortable are you staying in the pocket and going through your reads than maybe when you first came to Cal?
I think it's a big difference. That's when I said previously, I said 1% every day, but I think that was the biggest jump that I've made just because it was a lot of throws that I've made sitting in the pocket. And honestly, I was pretty uncomfortable at the beginning because it was like I've really never done that before. Like you said, my high school film shows me just scrambling around everywhere. I was just playing backyard football in high school. And I didn't get to play my senior season. So I think it was kind of some growing pains with it, but it's helping me feel honestly more confident about it because I know that teams are gonna, once they know that I can scramble and make all of these plays, they're gonna try to make me sit in the pocket and play quarterback, which I can do. So I'll be definitely looking forward to that too.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with our second round. If you do have follow-ups, feel free. We'll go to Jeff Ferrato. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Sam, staying on that topic, I wonder if you've heard other quarterbacks talk about the importance of staying in the pocket. I mean, Steve Young, the former 49ers quarterback, who was a great runner, said that he didn't become a real good quarterback until he figured that out. You're seeing that challenge for Trey Lance currently with the 49ers. Have you listened to what others have said about that particular ability?
I've really just been taking notes from Spav, honestly, because he's coached plenty of quarterbacks that have the same playing style as me, but I kind of noticed it too. Like Steve Young said, like I said, at the beginning of fall camp, I wasn't really playing to the best of my abilities just because the plays that I was trying to make were mostly with my legs. So once I started to talk to Spav and just see what he wanted out of me, it was mostly just staying in the pocket and being able to go through my progressions and get to my checkdowns and stuff like that. I just became much more comfortable when I had a streak at the end of camp where I was just playing pretty well and just playing the plays, being a QB.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Croner from the Chronicle.
Yes, Sam, kind of more of a big picture question for you. You were on a team anyway last year that got to the national championship game. You guys at Cal haven't played a game yet, but you've been with the team now for 8 months. What similarities do you see between the TCU team that got to the national championship game last year and the California Golden Bears who are getting ready to play their first game?
I think the thing that's the most similar is the locker room. We're pretty much a tight-knit group. Like honestly, when you hit the transfer portal and you go to a different school, you don't, from personal experience, you don't really expect to go in and be with those guys like immediately and just start coming together. Like the camaraderie isn't usually there just because you feel so new, especially coming from Chicago, then going to Texas, then coming to California. It's kind of different. But when I got here, that was the first thing I noticed. Like these guys are pretty close. We're pretty close with each other and stuff like that. So I feel like the camaraderie with the team is just the most similar. I mean, it was definitely a culture shock. It's two different coaches for sure. But that was probably the main thing, was just the locker room and the guys and how tight-knit group we are.
Okay, I'll go back to Matt Moreno from Rivals. Go ahead, Matt.
The guys blocking in front of you are going to be pretty important. I know you've had a chance to work with them pretty extensively this week. What's it been like over the course of camp? And even going back to spring, a lot of those guys are the same up front with that first unit. What's it been like growing a bond with them, and how much work can that grow as you guys get ready for the season?
It's been pretty good just talking to those guys about mostly passing game just because of the launch points in the pocket and stuff like that. I mean, in the spring, I was kind of making it hard for my tackles and stuff like that just because when I felt like I needed to get out instead of stepping up into the pocket, because we faced the wide nines against Simon. That's how he plays me. So I noticed that when I roll out and like escape outside of the pocket, that it's easy for the tackles it's easy for the ends to just share their blocks and stuff like that. So that was something that they told me that I just work on stepping up in the pocket and finding those different launch points and stuff like that. So we've been pretty much talking about a lot of things that will help them and help me. And I think we're going to be pretty good up front this season for sure.
Okay, does anybody have a final question for Sam? Give you a couple seconds. Let me know in the chat. We'll go to Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff Ferrata.
Sam, when you called home after you got the news, what was the reaction? Who did you talk to?
The first person I talked to was my dad. He was pretty excited because during fall camp, I was like, that's like my time to be selfish and focus on myself. So I haven't been talking to any of my people back home, any friends or anything like that. I was just focused on the team and getting us better. So when I talked to my dad, he was excited. We talked for like a couple hours. It's pretty much been a long journey for us. I mean, I've talked to a couple of my mentors too. Ryan Clifford, Kofi Hughes, Jeff Christensen. I've talked to plenty of people, but they're pretty excited for me and they've been on this long journey with me. So it was pretty much exciting for them too.
Any of them going to be able to be at North Texas?
I think all of them. I think all of them will be at that game. I'm pretty sure my dad will. My mentor probably will. I know my mom will be at the game for sure. But I think I'm going to have to get a lot of tickets for the game. So I think all of them will be there.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, guys, anybody with a final question? Okay, Sam, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Congratulations.
No problem. Go Bears.